And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net, should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog net is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, fullest sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 1,600 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. Our mission statement for the network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arlington, Virginia, trying to get the best sound possible from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also in the selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. One aimed north and south, the other east and west. The north and south mag loop can be rotated. They are selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than mag loop 1 or 2 by themselves. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented dipole antenna. One leg of this dipole is broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA 5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. Also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your loving guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this is an area of the band where we have many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, and now let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Got a copy? Yes, Jim. Wait a minute. Yes, Jim. Wait a minute. Yeah. Not working. I don't know what happened here. Wait a minute, Jim. I've got something wrong here. The amplifier is not working. Okay, it's working now. Yeah. Hi, Jim. I hope you're copying me okay. The app went out on me. K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie, I got you now, buddy. Go ahead.
Charlie, I got you now, buddy. Go ahead. Okay, Roger. I am not on my three-element quad, which is pointed in your direction. I'm on my cloud warmer, and the three elements firing straight up. I cannot load the quad very well at all. We've had over 2¼ inches of rain. 2¼ inches of rain started yesterday evening and almost stopped a little after noon. Now it's back again, and it's 41 degrees. I do have a recording of VK2SR. I did pick up on 40 meters, and that was on Tuesday. If you copy, okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I got a good copy on you, Charlie. Go ahead.
I got a good copy on you, Charlie. Go ahead. Okay, this is Chris, and he's just south of the capital of Australia at Canberra. The capital of Australia, of course, that's the equivalent of our Washington, D.C., and here he is.
Conditions here at the moment seem to your part of the world, Charlie. I'll put the beam up onto you a bit now as well, so yeah, but everything's fine here. Just going to be a very cold winter, I think, Charlie. And of course, I'm not far from the snow country where I am here, south of Canberra. So yeah, but we'll just have to burn plenty of firewood this year. I think I've got the shed to probably need a bit more before we start burning, but we'll be okay, Charlie. So great to hear you, buddy, and sounding as always very location. Go down this way on the Aircheck K3 Sugar transceiver here this evening. The solid-state amplifier and the 2-element mono band VK1TX. Pick it up. XVK2SR, mate.
Okay, back to you, Jim. I hope that came through. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I was on Milford most of the way there. I'm still not being able to use my normal Rochester SDR, but we're trying to muddle through as best we can. Roger.
Muddle through as best we can. Roger. Okay, well, Roger. You're now 4S units stronger on my other antenna than copying you on this cloud warmer, but I'm glad it worked out. We're expecting some colder air to be infiltrating us later tonight and early tomorrow morning. This rain should turn into some snow showers, and we may get an inch or two. I don't expect too much. but we have had 197 inches for the season, and of course at the moment there is no snow on the ground. I won't hold it too long. There may be many people trying to work you, but we are using a compromised antenna today, unfortunately, Tim. But it's always great to hear you in, and your audio is always terrific. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, gosh, hopefully you won't be having to build an ark up there. But if it keeps raining like that, you may have to, Roger.
Raining like that, you may have to, Roger. It sure came down steadily here. It looks like about 2 1/4 inches has come down so far. We may get another ½ inch before this is done. We could get up to 3 inches. Your signal is beautiful, even on the compromised antenna.
You won't be having to build an ark up there, but if it keeps raining like that, you may have to, Roger.
Yeah, may have to, Jim. Go ahead if you copied that.
Roger, Charlie. Well, thanks for checking in, and double check to be sure your anchor is deployed, Roger.
Anchor is deployed, Roger.
I got to make sure I'm supplied, that I'm anchored to the ground. Yeah, it's really wet out there, really wet. Everybody else is getting high winds, west and southwest of us, through parts of New York State, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, and down through New York, New Jersey. They're getting high winds, but we're too close to the low pressure area, which is out near Nova Scotia, and slowly pulling away, but it's big. And we're so close to the low pressure area with extremely low pressure that we're not getting much wind yet. But as we get into tonight, that will increase. Although I don't think we'll get it as bad as they're going to get it up to 200 or 300 miles south and west of it. 73, Jim, thank you as always. And we'll try to catch you next week with the quad, I hope. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie 73 up that way, sir. Thanks for dropping by and keeping us informed of conditions meteorologically and magnetically propagation-wise. Just a reminder, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, and I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV along with today's date, 4/30/21, and that will take you to our QSO. Well, actually, it'll take you to this recording. So you do a call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 4/30/21. That will take you to this recording. Now, if you wanted to go to our homepage and just check out some other QSOs, if you just do a call letter search for KC9VKV by itself, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, where we're now running about over 1,600 recorded Qso-Vlogs. So anyway, this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out, give me a shout.
Here's somebody down around Georgia way, on the Georgia SDR anyway. This is KC9VKV. Come back one more time with your call sign, slowly, phonetically, please.
Slowly, phonetically, please.
And nothing heard that time. That's not good. Well, anyway, let's try again. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out, give me a shout.
Well, I hear somebody back in there, but I go all the way around the horn. I'm running 4 internet SDR receivers plus my local receiver, and I do not have but a S1 copy on this station. Maybe propagation will change here in a short, and maybe you'll be able to make it, but we'll try it and see what happens. Station calling KC9VKV. Try again, please. I'm copying somebody better on my Georgia SDR than anywhere. Sir, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
With your call sign, please.
Copy something NO, Oklahoma. Let's see here. Try that call sign one more time, please.
That call sign one more time, please.
Roger, I can't pull it out, sir. But were you interested in a setup procedure for your transmitter?
Procedure for your transmitter?
I just now walked in the radio.
Roger, I had you a little bit on my local antenna, about 5 over, but it was in and out. So if you're interested in our setup procedure, let me just give you some notes, and maybe you can crank them in when you have more time. It begins with the compressor setup online, and at a 3. Compressor engaged at a 3. That's the beginning of our setup procedure. Roger, roger. I don't have a copy, but I do see your audio level is fairly low and does have a lot of dynamics in it, which is what our setup procedure takes care of. It fattens that signal up, and you go from a 10 dB dynamic range to a 3 dB dynamic range, and that is from a 30% average peak modulation to 80 to 85% of peak modulation. The second part of that setup procedure, once you get your compressor in line at a 3, is to move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, so you can see where the ALC meter is going to read. Then you adjust your mic level to where the ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC meter by way of mic gain control. Roger. Roger, roger. Copied a little bit on the Arlington SDI. But anyway, so you have those notes and you can crank them in at your leisure. This is a KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out, give me a shout.
And I have 2 SDR receivers down this afternoon. Interesting. Let me see if I can get Milford back up. Milford, of course, is my go-to quite often SDR receiver, because it just is has a great coverage. Let's see here. Come on, Milford. Okay, looks like we got it there. Oh, yes. Well, Goodness gracious. All right, this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. And we're on the air from now until 5, recording live. And then we are loaded up onto YouTube. And you go to YouTube and do a call to a search, KC9VKV, along with today's date, 4/30/21, will take you directly to this recording. This is KC9VKV. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
VKV, do you copy November 8, Papa, Echo, Papa?
Papa, Echo, Papa, come back slowly phonetically with the call sign, please.
November 8, Papa, Echo, Papa.
Papa, Echo, Papa, Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Papa, Roger, what's the name there? Name here is Mark, Mike Alpha, Romeo Kilo. I checked in with you a few weeks ago, but since then I've changed microphones, but I just wanted to see if we're doing okay here.
Roger, Mark. What's your location, sir?
Located in southwest Florida. The actual town is Cape Coral, Florida.
Roger, Mark. And what radio are you using?
This is a Kenwood TS480HX, Hotel X-ray.
Roger, Mark. Well, let's see here. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds on your antenna and let me listen to you.
Okay, Jim. The description of the antenna is about the same as I told you the last time. I don't expect you to remember it because that was a few weeks ago. But anyway, it's a 40-meter loop, 40-meter horizontal loop in a delta configuration. And it is slanted. It's not perfectly horizontal to the ground. So one end is up, one corner, I should say, is up about 30 feet. And the other corners are lower than that, 15 feet or so. And that's what we've got here on this end, Jim.
Roger, Roger. I'm copying you mainly on the Georgia SDR. You're about 7 dB over the Georgia SDR noise level. Your audio, it looks really good. I mean, as far as dynamic range, you're running about 3 dB dynamic range, which is exactly where we want you to be. And but on the EQ, you might crank in a couple of clicks more top-end EQ. 2 clicks additional treble EQ from where you are, Roger?
Roger, we'll do that right now here. There is one, let's see, that's about 3 right there. Does that seem to be okay?
Yes, sir. That adds a nice little syllabic top to you for definition and articulation. So when you get in those real muddy conditions, folks can understand what you're saying, Roger?
Roger. So how are we doing on the EQ part?
That's what I'm saying. You since you added that top, your articulation is very nice now. The thing is, you want to be as bright as you can, but not distorted. So the brighter you are. Usually, rule of thumb is the brighter you are, the more easily understood what you're saying, Roger.
I totally understand what you're saying. All right, so you think maybe just leave it right where it is now is okay then?
Roger. Now, I would suggest maybe we review very quickly what the setup is. That the compressor should be on and just at a 3. Compressor on and just at a 3. Roger?
Roger, and that is what we've got here right now. The mic gain actually is not quite a 3, almost a 3. The processor is about 3, just a tad over 3, and that's where it's located right now.
Roger, Roger. And the only other thing to double check is your ALC, because when you switch mics, you should always go back to your ALC and double check that you're running mid-scale to 2/3, because, every mic is different. Not necessarily the same level. So when you switch mics, be sure and go back to your ALC and double check that you're running up mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Mid-scale to 2/3, Roger. Roger, yeah, this one, right now, the ALC is about 2/3 to 3/4, about 2/3 to 3/4 scale.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's got a nice little life to it. What happens is if you get more than 3 dB, when I'm really saying less than, because, if you get down to like a 2 dB dynamic range, the words start to blur. And the more you pass 3 dB dynamic range, the more blurry they become. So eventually you defeat the purpose of folks being able to understand what you're saying. So 3 dB is a nice fat signal, but you still have some dynamic involved to be able to perceive what the words are. Roger?
To perceive what the words are. Roger? Roger. Now, should I go back down to make sure I don't exceed 2/3? Because every now and then it does go up to about 3/4.
No, that's your ballpark there. Your ballpark. I'm looking, and it's about 3 dB. So that's where we want to be, Roger.
That's where we want to be, Roger. Roger, Roger. Okay, well, it sounds like then, from what you're telling me, that I'm in pretty good shape at the moment.
Yes, sir. Now, the thing is, you need to keep your proximity to microphone consistent. You want to address that microphone at the same distance all the time, because obviously if you move into it, your level is going to go up. If you pull back, your level is going to get less. The compressor is trying to keep up with all that, and it does a fairly good job, but it's a good idea to always address the microphone at the same distance, as consistent as you can.
The longer I talk also. I've noticed that, which is not a good thing. When I start talking, I usually am a little softer, and then as the conversation goes on, I guess I get more comfortable with it and I get louder.
Roger, so the solution to that is to start moving away from mic a little bit. Now, you don't want to move too far back, because if you get too far back, you suddenly are getting stuff bouncing off the walls. You're getting a room reverberation in there, and you don't want to be that. So, normally you want to adjust the microphone at maybe 5 to 6 inches away, somewhere in that area where your voice is by far and away louder than any room reverberation. Roger?
Room reverberation, Roger. Oh, Roger. I totally understand, and I've experienced that. Right now, this is a headset with a boom microphone, and I have the microphone straight out the way you recommended several weeks ago, and that's how we're running it. So the distance between my mic and my mouth is pretty much a constant. I think, if anything, it's my voice that fluctuates in loudness.
Roger. Okay, so then what I would do is I would run my radio and be looking at my my ALC meter. I would be, monitoring my ALC meter, and it will tell me if I get rambunctious in audio. Roger?
Rambunctious in audio, Roger? Right, and that's what I'm doing here now. I'm trying to keep an eye on the ALC as I'm talking to you, and everything looks pretty good here. And I appreciate the help, Jim. This is good. It's good to know that this microphone is working okay and sounding okay. It is definitely a much hotter mic than the stock mic, than the handheld mic that came with the radio. And the other mic that I sometimes use is an MC60, Kenwood MC60 mic. And this mic and this headset is hotter than either one of those two mics. So I have to watch it, and I have to make an adjustment every time I use it. But this has been helpful today to know exactly where to set it.
Roger. And hopefully it's just a matter of mic gain control. and looking at the ALC when you switch mics and not have to get into the EQ part of it. Roger?
Roger. That's what we're going to plan to do here. All right, well, we'll let you go, and thanks again for all the help. And I know there's probably other fellows out there needing some help also. So we'll say 73 to you, and I'll be listening for that YouTube audio here in a few days, and we'll take a listen and see what that sounds like. Very good, Jim. Thanks again for all the help, and have a good afternoon. KC9VKV, this is N8PEP.
Roger, Mark 73 down that way, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is the Kilo Charlie 9 Qso-Vlog net. For Friday afternoon, we're recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Copying somebody on my local antenna. Try one more time your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Whiskey 5, Bravo, Uniform, Yankee. I stepped it up just a little bit. I heard you talking, but it's your time. I just want to say, chill, and I just want to say.
Roger, I think I've got a copy. The latter part of that was BUY. Come back one more time phonetically with the call sign.
Whiskey 5, Bravo, Uniform, Yankee.
Whiskey 5, Bravo, Uniform, Yankee. Roger.
QSL, sir, QSL.
Yes, sir. Okay, now let me just see something here. I got my Milford back, but it's only half back. I've got to punch it up and get the audio back up. All right, and what's the name there?
My name is Bill.
Roger, Bill. Okay, and what's your location, sir?
I'm in the little town of Summit, Mississippi. Sierra Uniform, Mike, India Tango. I'm halfway between New Orleans, Louisiana, and Jackson, Mississippi. Radio on Interstate 55.
Yes, sir, Bill. And what radio are you running, sir?
I play on my T2000 my wife bought me now. I got a TS2000 hooked up. My wife surprised me with, and I'm playing with it.
Alrighty, and why don't you give me about 10 seconds and let me listen to you as you tell me about your antenna system, Roger?
Okay, I'm just running the TS2000. I am running it through an SD200. I'm doing about 350 watts. I keep it turned down. My antenna is a ZS6VKW, the modified G5RV. I've got it about 30 feet in the air in an inverted V situation, oriented, let's see, it's east and west orientation. And that's the one I'm using now. I'm working on my 160 meter full wave.
Roger, Bill. Well, let's see here. Gosh, looking at your audio, I think you might be running your compressor a little hot. What we recommend is that the compressor be on, but at a token amount. Compressor on at a 3. Roger.
Okay, and I could be getting too close to the microphone. I'll have to get the book out and look how to turn the compressor down.
Yes, sir. Let me give you the whole spiel here. Our set of procedures starts with the engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, but it does exactly what we need it to do. Then once you have your compressor in line and on at a 3, you move to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, so you can see where the ALC meter is going to rise to or read to, then adjust your mic gain to where your ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3. So once we get that compressor in line at a 3, move to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you speak rapidly, somewhat rapidly, adjust your ALC to run mid-scale to 2/3 by mic gain manipulation. Roger?
Okay. I've got the book out. I'm trying to figure out where the controls are for the compressor and the processor there.
Yes, sir. Well, compressor and processor are the same thing. It's just different manufacturers choose to refer to it differently, but a compressor and a processor are the same thing, Roger?
Yes, sir. I just got to figure out where the buttons are. This is a new to me radio, and I'm just trying to figure it out there. I'll just turn the processor off, and that might drop it down enough. I've got to figure all this stuff out. I got the little handy laminated flip through manual here, and I'm looking for it.
Well, just take those notes, and then at your leisure you can crank those in. And your level did fall off when you turn your compressor off, so it was working, but maybe a little bit too much. What happens is when you exceed about a 3 and you start 4, 5, and 6, what happens is that the compressor wants to try to suck up trash between your words, and all of a sudden you're listening to your neighbor beat his wife and stuff, and we don't want to hear all that. So I found that a compressor on a 3 is a token amount, but it does just exactly what we needed to do. Roger?
Yes, sir, I understand that. And I'm sitting here, oh yeah, the ALC is going nuts up there. Well, it was. But I'm looking for it. I'll find it here, and I'll keep that in mind, and I'll check it out and worry it, and I'll get back with you. How about that?
Yes, sir. If you manage to put it all together before we wrap up at 5, give me a shout back, and we'll take a listen and see what we got there. But I'm sure you'll be fine if you follow those notes. And if you want to hear your audio as it stands, you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 4/30/21. That's today's date, 4/30/21, and that will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
Okay, it's KC9 what?
Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor.
Oh yeah, I've got that written down already. All right, man, I appreciate it. I got it. I'm going to work on it. See if I can get it done and give you a yell back. How about that?
Yes, sir. You crank in those numbers, and you'll be nice and fat and very understandable. So we'll say 73 for right now, Bill. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. Thanks for dropping by. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. There was a Mobile out there. Mobile, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Charlie 3, Oscar, November, uniform. And here's Chris.
Kilo Charlie 3, Oscar, November, uniform. Is that a Roger?
November uniform, is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger.
Name is Chris, and what's your location, Chris?
And what's your location, Chris?
We live in a town called Prince Frederick, about an hour south of Washington, D.C., in southern Maryland.
Roger, Maryland. And what's the radio you're running, Chris?
And what's your radio you're running, Chris?
Yes, sir. We have an ICOM 7300 on the dash of the work van with a Scorpion screwdriver antenna.
I understand you have a 7300 on your the dash of your Mobile. Is that a Roger?
Sure, your Mobile, is that a Roger?
All right. Well, let me give you some quick setup notes for that, and you can crank them in at your leisure. Again, our setup starts with the compressor engaged at a 3 token amount, but it does what we need it to do. Once you get your compressor engaged at a 3, move to your ALC with the mic gain in hand, and as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, you will adjust your ALC to read mid-scale to 2/3 by way of mic gain manipulation. In other words, we get to the ALC meter, bring it up, and then adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Running mid-scale to 2/3.
All right, and the other thing is, what you want to do is be sure and be in the 100 to 2900 bandpass. You have choices for 3 different bandpasses there. 100 to 2900 is the one that you should be in. Matter of fact, you could go ahead and set all 3 of those bandpasses to the same thing. Set all 3 of those bandpasses to 100 to 2900. You shouldn't have to be in any other mode to run that radio, Roger.
Roger.
Roger, Roger. 100. I'm going to write this down. So 100 to 2900.
Exactly. And that will be the best performance out of that radio. And there's no reason to compromise. That's just a beautiful radio, and you should run it in that mode, Roger.
In that mode, Roger.
Roger, Roger. I'm doing it now. I've got the wide set there. The mid I've only got set to 27. Okay, so let me. All right, and then. Okay, I'll make these changes real quick.
Yeah, you can set them at your leisure. Just right now, be sure that you're in one of them. That's 100 to 2900, Roger.
100 to 2900, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Okay, I've got them set. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And just out of curiosity, are you using the supplied hand mic?
Using the supplied hand mic?
Yes, I am. Yes, sir.
All right. Do you know where your EQ page is?
Where your EQ page is?
Negative.
All right. One more note to self: when you find your EQ page, crank in 2 more clicks, treble boost. 2 clicks additional treble boost when you find your EQ page, Roger.
Your EQ page, Roger.
Okay, pump the treble up 2 clicks. Roger, Roger.
Roger. And on the general operation of that hand mic, what you want to do is pull that hand mic to the corner of your lips and work across it. Do not work directly into it, but to pull it to the corner of your lips and talk across it. That way you will minimize any mouth noises or plosives and stuff, Roger.
Plosives and stuff, Roger.
Roger. Okay, so don't hold the mic. I'm holding it off to the side. So don't speak directly into the mic, but keep your mic off to either side of the mouth. Is that over?
That's it, Roger. Let the corner of your lips, just right at the corner of your lips is the best place. And then you're just talking across it, Roger.
Across it, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Okay, I'm doing that now.
And then as obviously you would want to go back to your ALC and redefine your mid-scale to 2/3 operation of the ALC by mic gain control, because you might not have been using that mic exactly that way prior, Roger.
Exactly that way prior, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Yep, gotcha. Good information. Thank you so much.
Roger, Chris. Well, listen, 73, good luck, sir. Sounding good. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday, Roger.
Friday, Roger.
Roger, I appreciate your help. Thank you so much. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend.
Roger, Chris. And to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 4/30/21, it'll take you directly to this recording, and give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. A lot of times we're a lot sooner than that, but outside, it'll be a couple of days. So 73, and this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 9, Delta Lima Kilo is with you.
November 9 station, come back slowly, phonetically with the call sign again.
November 9er, Delta Lima Kilo in Wisconsin is with you, over.
November 9, Delta Lima Kilo, and what's the name there, please?
Name is David, over.
Roger, David, and what radio are you running, sir?
Yeah, no 950. I got 100 watts. I was just curious. I got a 43-foot vertical here. I live on a lake, and I was wondering if it's coming out pretty good. Over.
I'm copying you on Milford. Why don't you give me 10 seconds on your antenna system, and let me look for a better path, Roger?
Roger,
Roger, go ahead.
I need for you to transfer it, sir. That's what I'm looking for. give me 10 on your antenna system, Roger.
10 on your antenna system, Roger.
Okay, 9, 5, 6, 5, 4, 1. Over again. 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Over.
Roger. Well, we usually use that time to for you to talk about your antenna system as opposed to counting, but it all works the same. I don't have a better path than Milford, PA, SDR. And about the audio, you're probably could be a little bit fatter. Are you familiar with our setup procedure?
Negative.
Okay, it starts with a compressor engaged at a 3. Turn that compressor on and only at a 3. It doesn't need to be any higher than that to do exactly what we need it to do, Roger.
Exactly what we need it to do, Roger.
Okay, I'll write it down here. Over.
Alrighty. So we have the compressor engaged at a 3. Then we move to our ALC with mic gain in hand. And as we speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, so we can see where the ALC meter is reading, we adjust that by the mic gain control to where the ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC by way of mic gain.
Okay, got you covered. That's it then?
Roger. And again, what was the radio that you're running?
It's an old Yaesu 950. Seems to be working okay. I was just curious, like I say, this antenna system living next to the lake, I'd like to have a much larger one, but when you got neighbors, that doesn't always work out. Over.
Roger that. Well, also another note to self, perhaps, does that radio have equalization?
Yeah.
Might want to be just a little bit more on the top end. 2 clicks boost, treble EQ, additional from where you are. 2 clicks boost, treble EQ, additional from where you are. Roger?
Roger that. Pretty cool. Give this all a shot. Right now, I kind of got to get going here. I'll look for you on Fridays, I guess. Over.
Yes, sir. We just do this on Friday afternoons from 3:30 till 5, record the whole thing, and then post it up on YouTube. If you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, or Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 4/30/21, that will take you to this recording, and we usually get it up, maybe Saturday, but if you give us a couple of days to be sure, or you could actually subscribe to the to our Qso-Vlog, and that would give you a notification, I think, of when we do upload it. Roger?
Understand. Well, I'll hash all this over, and I'll see if I can get a hold of you next Friday.
Roger, David. 73, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, the Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor Echo 3, Papa Charlie, Papa Mobile.
Papa Charlie, Papa Mobile. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jim. I hope everything's going well for you down your direction. Sunny afternoon here. Quite windy, but other than that, not going too badly. KC9VKV, B3PCP Mobile.
Roger. Now, you getting some heavy winds down that way?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we've been under a special weather statement all day, so it's quite windy, but the sun's out and a few clouds in the sky, so I guess there's some kind of temperature change going through. It's only about 5 degrees Celsius right now, so definitely not a very warm spring day. Back to you.
Roger. Charlie up in New Hampshire is getting a lot of rain. I think he's got like 7 foot of rain or something. I don't know, some ridiculous amount of rain, Roger.
Roger.
Yeah, Qso, well, we had some rain but that's cleared up for now, so, but you know, that's pretty typical weather for this time of year. KC9VKV, D3PCP.
Roger, Roger. All right, sounding good, sir. Thanks for checking in, and you drive safe, Roger.
You do drive safe, Roger.
Yeah, will do. Very good, Jim. 7-3, and we'll talk to you again soon. KC9VKV, D3PCP, mobile is clear.
Roger, Roger, and you're 5 dB above the Milford PASDR level, and I just lost Milford. A stroke of timing there. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Give me a shout.
And I just went around the horn, heard nothing. And I'm batting 0 for Milford, so let me try Milford back up again. Let's see. Oh, well, gosh, wonders never cease. That's 3 times I got back into Milford. Usually 2 strikes and you're out with there. But anyway, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, known in some circles as Dr. VKV, and we are recording now live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out? Give me a shout.
Hello, Jim. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. Who we got there?
Doing pretty well. Who we got there?
I'm sorry, we doubled. Who's this?
I'm sorry, we doubled. Who's this?
Hello, hello. Who is it there out there?
Hello, who is it there out there?
Kilo 9er, Mike Oscar, India.
Mike Oscar, India. Roger, Roger.
Oscar, India. Roger, Roger.
Mike Oscar, India.
I got you. What's the name?
I got you. What's the name?
Mike Oscar, India. What's the name there?
Oscar, India. What's the name there?
Oh, okay. Kilo 9er, Mike Oscar, India. I didn't know if you were chatting with someone else there or not. My handle here is Don. D-O-N, dry, oily, and not so normal. Over.
Roger. Well, listen, Don, if I was talking to somebody else or using your call sign, buddy, I don't mean to say anything, but I was, well, anyway. What radio are you running, Don?
What radio are you running, Don?
FTDX101D into an Ameritron ALX 1306 into a high tower, my second high tower. The first one was still standing, but all the stubs were missing and the inflators on the feet were gone. So that took kind of care of that one. So we got a new one and put that up. And we got 6 towers here, so I can kind of pick whatever I want. There's a couple of beams that'll... Well, no, I don't have a beam on 40, but I will in a couple of months. And a lot of double bazookas on 80 and 40, 160, stuff like that. We're 40 miles north of Milwaukee, mile and a half west of Lake Michigan, and it's cool and sunny and not too breezy. Over.
Roger, Roger, Don. Well, let's see. Let's engage that situation as far as if you're interested in the setup procedure. Setup procedure is generic, but it takes a 10 dB dynamic range transmitter and reduces it to a 3 dB, increases the average percent modulation from 10 to about, well, not 10, but 30 to 80 to 85%. It starts with the compressor being engaged at a 3. It's a token amount, but it does what we need it to do. Roger?
What we need it to do. Roger?
Roger, I don't think I'm using any compression. On the Yaesu, I have the M1 microphone, and that one has a couple of graphic bars which I can change. I'm putting in about 700 watts right now. Over.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at your audio, and you do have a nice dynamic range. You are, at the moment, about 3 dB. So, gosh, that's exactly where I was headed, but you beat me to the punch.
Well, I don't know if I want to punch anybody, but you get the idea. Yeah, well, I had the M1 mic, the anniversary one with the shroud and the gold bar on my 991 Alpha. And then when I sold a very unique speaker, a James B. Lansing Paragon, and that gave me sufficient funds to, and then some, to get a Yaesu FTDX101, and that's one hell of a radio. That really is quite a sweetheart. Very quiet. It's got VC tuning, which I don't use a lot unless it gets noisy. And your signal here is, I forgot to take a reading on the S meter, but the audio is clean as it gets. No problem whatsoever. Over.
Yes, sir, Don, thank you very much. And just out of curiosity, I'm curious about how close you might be to that microphone. Are you closer than 2 inches to that mic?
You're closer than 2 inches to that mic.
No. It should be probably about 4.
4 inches?
4 inches?
Roger. About 4 inches. But it has a shroud on, so the audio goes smack dead into it, and normally you don't pick up a lot of side stuff. Over.
Right. I have not heard any plosives, so it's filtering as far as plosives and stuff is very good, Roger.
Stuff is very good, Roger.
Yeah. Well, it's Yaesu's best microphone, and if you run everything properly, I guess it should do a good job. It's a dual mic, dynamic and condenser. And then you can use either mic, any combination of the 2 mics you want. And there's a 9-band graphic equalizer. I didn't do anything on the radio. I only had it a couple of weeks, so I just got it set kind of broad, and then I'm letting the microphone take care of the rest. K9MOI, over.
Roger, well, that's kind of unique that you can run either a dynamic cartridge or the condenser cartridge, or both. Could I ask you right now, are you in the dynamic range or the condenser range, or are you running both?
Condenser range, or are you running both?
Right now I'm in both.
Alrighty, and what would happen if you were to move just to the condenser aspects of it?
To the condenser aspects of it.
So let me push a button and find out. Well, right now I'm in the dynamic. The condenser is not connected. Over.
Roger that. I was anticipating a nice A-B comparison between dynamic and condenser. I'm a condenser fan myself. On any given day, I find that condenser elements are more articulated usually in the upper registers than dynamic as far as intelligibility and articulation, Roger.
Roger, I have the gain on the condenser higher than I do on the dynamic.
Roger, but you're not running the condenser at the moment, Roger?
Not running the condenser at the moment, Roger.
I got to figure out how to do that. When I drop the dual, it goes to the dynamic. And what I can do is take the little tool they gave me here and turn the condenser down to nothing. Or the dynamic down to nothing. Let's see what happens. There, I got the dynamic turned down to basically nothing. Any difference? It should be 99% condenser. Over.
Roger, I think I can hear a little more top end on the condenser than the dynamic, but not enough to write home about. So I would run it just the way you were running it, Roger.
The way you were running it, Roger.
Roger, I got the dynamic more or less full, halfway, and the condenser full.
Roger. Now, just out of curiosity, the radio is furnishing the DC volts for the electret condenser. Is that a Roger?
The electret condenser, is that a Roger?
That's a Roger. At first, I had a separate 5-volt supply, and then I got a hold of Yaesu, and I said, hey, this mic, it's your mic and your receiver. He says, take the bottom cover off, and there's a little bitty switch. And they sent me a detailed picture of the switch. I flipped the switch, and now the mic is powered, the 5 volts is powered from the FCD 101D. So I don't need that separate little cord there anymore. That's kind of nice. I kind of thought they should do that. I was going to do it one way or another, and here it's just flip a switch. Then there's some other switches underneath there that I haven't messed with. It's a heck of a mic. I guess it's their best one. It was the anniversary model, 60 years of Yaesu, I guess, and that's about 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. K9MOI, over.
Roger, Don. Well, listen, it sounds really good, sir. And the only thing I would say would be to maybe crank in a couple of clicks more top-end EQ, just for articulation purposes. Just 2 clicks treble boost from where you are. Hopefully, is that radio just have a 3-band, a 2-band, or what EQ was?
Or what EQ was? It's their best. I guess their best radio. The MP is exactly like this one, except it's 200 watts, and it's got VC tuning on the sub-band and a 300 cycle crystal. Other than that, the radios are the same. They're powered differently. This is 12 volt, the other one is 50. Because you get a speaker and a power supply with it. But I didn't want that. I didn't need it. It was an extra 900, and I just didn't think I needed it. I can probably look in the menu here a bit and crank up the Yaesu radio itself, because in order to get 800 watts, I'm putting about, let's see, what do we got in there? Drive into the amplifier. I was running an Icon 7600 prior, and that would do that at 35 watts. So I don't know what's going on here. This one takes more drive to get my ALS 1306 going. But anyway, the SWR is like 1.0 at this particular frequency. Over.
Roger, Don. Well, I just switched over to my local antenna, and you're sounding good on my local receiver. So my local receiver's got a little bit better frequency response than my internet SDRs. Internet SDRs tend to roll out around 300 cycles, 250 cycles, whereas my local receiver is good down to around 100. But you're sounding really good on my local receiver, and gosh, let me say a threes up that way, sir. You have a real good afternoon, and if you want to hear that radio, like I said, I just moved over to my local antenna. Maybe if you could give me 10 seconds about what you like best about your radio, I'll be on my local antenna. Roger.
Very quiet. I can filter out noise like you wouldn't believe, and if it's out there, this thing will get it, I guess. But I could shift to a couple other beams. What the heck? I got a Mosley that's been sitting up there for 52 years at about 72 feet. And then I got another beam at about 82 feet on another tower. And that one I'm going to be taking down in a few months. It's 25 feet long and 25 feet wide tri-band, and about 60 or 70 years old. I got the antenna, and I didn't have whatever it takes to load the driven elements. So I had to kind of invent something. I went with a hairpin, and the 10 and 15 are not tuned, but the 20 seems to be pretty good at 14,300. So I'm not feeding it. Other than that, then we got a couple of bazookas, and there's an off-center fed. That Bushmaster off-center fed, which was like $400 for a piece of wire on a ballon, and that thing is absolutely useless. And they told me, well, you gotta get away from guy wires and stuff. So the 2 towers that it's near, the guy lines are Dyneema. They are not conductive. They are not metal. And it didn't make any difference. And next month or two, I'm going to take that one down. It's easy enough for me to take it down. I got it on a rope and pulley.
I should say polyester, not, if you need my rope. And take that down and scrutinize that balance, because you can't get 160 through there with a blowtorch. It won't even go there. The analyzer is over there going 160, and it's supposed to be 10 through 160 off center fetch. But we might have to do some trimming, and I do have one guy on the low bands that we chat with quite a bit. He's quite an authority on off center fetch. That's the only antenna he has, and he wrote a couple of books on it. So he's going to help me out when I get that part. So anyway, one thing I didn't do was get your calls. If you could repeat them about 10 times, then I'll probably get them. K9MOI, over.
Oh, Roger, Don. The call here is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor KC9VKV. Name is Jim, and this is the Qso-Vlog net, where we assist folks in getting their transmitters set up to achieve the best sounding station possible. And if you would like to hear your audio, we have been recording now, and we will be recording till 5. So if you want to hear it, you would go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 4/30/21, and that will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
Directly to this recording, Roger.
I shall do that. The computer's on the other end of the bench, and it's on, so I'll take a peek. And I thank you very much. And once I get to know this radio a little bit better, I can probably crank up the high end there, or allow it a little bit more. And then I can push a button here and use the little control and get the equalizer up also. The equalizer just covers from, would you believe, 63 hertz up to 16,000 hertz, which of course doesn't respond in the AM bands. So I would imagine if they figured on they could use this for recording or something. And then what I'll do is I'll listen to that recording, and I get an idea what I sound like, because you never sound like real, and so forth. And mine being a bit on the hollow side in spots, it's going to have a little echo in it. So I thank you very much. Your calls are very good. The audio is excellent. It's KC9 Victor Kilo Victor. I got it. Kilo Victor. I got it. Thanks, Jim. K9MOI, and somebody else is no doubt going to need your assistance. Thank you very much. 73's old boy.
Okay, 4.
Roger, Don, 73 up that way, sir. And FYI, we have a little thing called input source indicator, which is a chevron down on the right side of the screen that has lights that keeps track of my input selections between my 4 internet SDRs and my local receiver. So you can tell exactly where we are as far as the audio is concerned. And so when you go to YouTube and do that search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 4/30/21, you'll be able to see the chevron and see exactly where we are on our input select. So we'll say 3 for now, and gosh, give us a couple of days to get this uploaded. We many times are a lot sooner than that, but we do say 2 days. So 73 done, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Video you want to check out, give me a shout. Kilo number 4, Mexico Ocean, Germany.
Let's see, Kilo number 4, Mexico, what was it?
Kilo number 4, Mexico, what was it? Mexico Ocean, Germany. Kilo number 4, Mexico Ocean, Germany. Jim, you and I have discussed the flex, and we were going to try to read Friday, 10 this Friday, over.
Roger that. Well, I think, in retrospect, I looked at the flex stuff, and I think your normal position as far as your compressor on in the normal range is probably the best place for you to be, in retrospect, because that's only a token amount, and that's exactly what I'm looking for as far as the setup. And then the other part with that would be on your zero level indicator, you want to be slightly under a zero level. Roger?
Zero level, Roger. Roger, okay. And how's about the spectrum? We talked about spectrum so that it's rather flat across. I guess what, from 250 up to 4K, something like that. Over.
Roger. Now, do you have your power amp on?
Yes, I do. I have the power amplifier on. Over.
All right. I'm copying you mainly on the Milford PA SDR. I do not have a very good copy on my local antenna. And the internet SDRs tend to roll out under 300 cycles. So I can't really advise you on that. If I had a better copy on my local antenna, I would be able to say precisely what it is. You might crank in just a tad more on the bottom end, because it does look like you are, down, it looks like you're rolling out at 300, but again, like I say, the internet SDRs do that automatically, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll catch you on
Let me do this. I'm going to actually make a big adjustment here so that I am somewhat flat across the entire band. And we'll see what kind of difference that makes, because you said, well, let's give that a shot. Let's try it. And let's see. Okay, I made some adjustments here, and I think it's probably cut down on my full bandwidth here. What do you see? Over.
Yeah, we don't want to cut down on the bandpass. We want to be 100 to 2900, Roger.
100 to 2900, Roger. Yeah, that's what it is now. Before I had some notches that I had put in here because of some comments that flat out to about 4 in the row 0, and I go to a row 0 at 8. Over.
Roger. So you're right now in 100 to 2900 bandpass. That a Roger?
2900 bandpass. That a Roger? That is correct, and in fact I've got 4 out there on the side, so it's pretty flat right across the entire part of the spectrum there. Kilo 4 Mike Oscar Golf for ID.
Roger. I have a copy on you on my local antenna, but the level is so low that, I've got so much noise that my spectrum analyzer's reading mostly noise on that, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, what does the SDR look like or sound like? Over.
I'm sorry?
I say, when you go to the favorable SDR, what does it sound like? Over.
Okay, it's showing a rollout of under 300. It's rolling out at 300. Now, when you go to my site, you'll see a spectrum analyzer over to the left-hand side, and it has 3 marks on it. And the first mark to the left is 100 cycles. And then as you go to the other side, the first mark on the right is 1 KC. Then there's a blank space, which is 2 KC. Then there's another white mark, which is 4 KC. Roger?
Which is 4 KC. Roger? Roger. Yeah. I'll be able to see that in the recording, I'm sure. Okay, well, won't hold you. I know.
And we'll try it again sometime, Jim. Thank you for time. And we'll catch you again when more favorable conditions exist. This is Kilo number 4, Mexico Ocean, Germany.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, that's. I wish, like I say, I wish we had a stronger, more propagation, more propagation, more signal, more signal. That would, I could look at my local antenna and get a good reading on my spectrum analyzer. But when you get down into the noise, then the spectrum analyzer is reading everything, whether it's noise, audio, voice, or whatever. So when you get down there at maybe 2 dB or dB above noise, it's reading mostly the noise. But maybe again, we'll try maybe next Friday if you have the time and availability, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, you came up on that transmission, so maybe band improved. On my copy that well. We'll try next Friday. I'm sure there are others who you're reading much better who like to get a check, and we'll turn the frequency over to you. Over.
Roger. We're 73 that way, and thanks for dropping by. Again, if you go to YouTube and call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 4/30/21, will take you to this recording. And again, the chevron to the right, lower right, will tell you what audio is coming from, and then the spectrum analyzer over to the left will show you what it is. And again, the thing I've noticed about the internet SDRs is that they do tend to roll out at 300 cycles or so. I was really surprised. I thought, wow, digital, but they tend to roll out under 300 cycles. So there you go. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We record now live till 5. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
This is W4OZ, Kilo Charlie 0, Victor India Charlie.
W4OZ, is that a Roger?
Roger, W4OZ, W4 Oscar Zulu, over.
Yes, sir. What's the name there, please?
Name here is Dennis, D-E-N-N-I-S, Dennis.
Roger, Dennis, and where are you located, sir?
I am located in Tallahassee, Florida, over.
Roger, and what's the radio that you're running, sir?
I have an Icon 7610 with a off-center fed dipole up about, vertex is about 45 feet, and I'm using the Heil. Over.
Roger, Dennis, and just out of curiosity, what do you figure your residual SWR is on this frequency on your antenna without the tuner?
I don't know. It's probably a little high. Probably around 6.
Roger. Now, are you using the 7610 antenna tuner?
Negative. I have a Telstar HF Auto tuner. Over.
Roger. So you figure a 6 on this frequency?
Roger.
Roger, I was just curious. I'm going through this whole thing about efficiency of antennas, and my preference is dipoles, resonant tuned dipoles that have no SWR. Therefore, you need not use antenna tuners. You just everything right out of the radio, right to the antenna, and it tends to work really well. This one we've been running for about 4 or 5 years. SWR is somewhere around 0.04. You hardly see the meter move when that happens. It's broadside to Montreal, Canada, and one leg, and the other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. And we then come up with a hotspot through the Carolinas. Now, on that 7610, our setup procedure, if you would be interested, starts with the compressor engaged at a 3. Roger?
Roger, I listened to the net last week and picked up some tips. It is set currently to 3. Over.
Alrighty, and then your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3 by way of mic gain manipulation?
By way of mic gain manipulation?
The ALC is a little high right now. My mic gain is about 30%.
Roger, looks pretty good there. Now, I tell you, on the 7610, you have a button called Quick.
A button called Quick? Roger.
All right, and Quick takes you to Drive.
And Quick takes you to Drive? Roger, it's currently set at 50%.
Yes, sir. Take Quick, take Drive up to 65%. Let's hear what you sound like at 65.
Let's hear what you sound like at 65. This is W4OZ, W4OZ at 65% on the drive gain. Over.
Alrighty, now I want you to give me about 10 seconds on your antenna, and let me see if I can find a better path, maybe even get to my local radio. Roger?
Get to my local radio. Roger? Roger, this is W4OZ, testing.
54321, testing, W4OZ, testing, the 7610, over.
Roger that, yes. Okay, I've got you on my local antenna, and you're fairly broadbanded as far as audio is concerned. It's showing up as activity down to 100 cycles for sure on my spectrum analyzer. So tell me the best thing you like about the 7610.
Well, there's a whole bunch I like about it. I've had it for just a few weeks. Definitely the display size. Of course, the two receivers is very nice. Like the extra ports that it has on the back, as well as some of the ones on the front with the additional USB ports. And I like the fact that it has a built-in network capability, and the fact that it has a couple of ACC ports, and it fits nice on my desk. Over.
Roger. Well, that was a nice little piece there on our local radio, and I was looking at the spectrum analyzer. So, like I said, it does show activity down to 100 cycles. Again, we do have some noise, which is going to be also in the spectrum that's being analyzed, and does show up a little bit. But by and large, I think your curve is nice audio-wise. I would just put a little more sparkle in the top end. That is a 2-band EQ, and I would do a +2 additional treble boost from where you are. That would be 2 clicks treble boost additional from where you are. Roger?
Roger, this is W4OZ. I've got the treble set at the +5, which is the max, and the bass is a -2. Over.
Roger. What mic are you running, sir?
I have the Heil Pro Micro headset. Over.
Roger that. Well, sounds good. I think, the thing we normally advise on the headset is to extend the boom out just as far as you can, and then at the last minute make that 90. So you're taking that boom. If you have the kind that you can adjust, you just move it as far as you can straight out in front of you, and then at the last minute take a 90. Roger?
Roger, I did that while you were talking, so hopefully there's a change. I am wide-banded on the transmit. I had one question about ALC. It's up above the suggested range. Over.
Roger. Well, check it again, because, if you move that mic out a little bit further, which it sounded like you might have, because, proximity to the microphone affects the frequency response characteristics, and when you move that mic on out a little bit further, it tended to have a better top-end response, I thought. But you need to go back and check your ALC since you have varied your proximity to microphone. So I would go back to my ALC and adjust from mid-scale to 2/3 with the new position of that mic. Roger?
Roger, I have moved it out all the way. The ALC is going above the, way over the bar limit here. Should I adjust it with the mic gain or the drive gain? Over.
Mic gain. Pull the mic gain down to where your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Roger. Okay. So just testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay, I've got it down to about 9 or 10%.
Roger. I tell you what. Why don't you take drive back to 60? Take drive back to 60. Pull it back 5 to 60. Roger.
Roger. Hold on.
And then once you get to drive back to 60, check your ALC with the mic gain.
This is W4OZ testing, W4OZ testing, W4OZ, W4OZ. How's that?
Yeah, I think you got it there. It's looking good. Your ALC is mid-scale to 2/3. Is that correct?
Roger, that's correct. Pretty close to the 2/3 marker. Over.
Roger. Now I just moved to my Georgia SDR, which I really have technically a better copy, just not as good a frequency response from the SDR. Why don't you give me a 10 on? Let's see. We did the. Tell me about your antenna system one more time.
Roger, it's a off-center fed dipole. I have a Ballon design Ballon in there, and I use it for the Mars frequency antenna tuner mainly because of the frequencies they use. And it's up about on a pine tree about 40 to 45 feet off the ground.
Alrighty, the signal is right there towards noise, maybe about 3 dB above noise, so we could have a better situation, but, you know, it is what it is. So if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date, 4/30/21, will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
Roger, Jim, appreciate your time and helping me out here, and it's working real well here. So I hear you just loud and clear. Over.
Roger. Well, we're lucky today. Sometimes, well, most of the time we do pretty well. I'm really in favor of resonant tuned dipole antennas. I think they are one of the most efficient radiators going. But plus the point that you can use them directionally because the propagation moves off the antenna at right angle, broadside to the element. So by the way you choose to string your dipole, you can maximize your RF in that direction, Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I have occasionally changed the orientation of some of the legs due to homeowner association issues and so forth. So we are in the process of putting up hopefully here soon, a horizontal loop up about 40 to 45 feet. Over.
Yes, sir. Now keep your antenna what you have and get an AB switch so you can always tell what the new stuff is doing versus the old stuff, because otherwise you never know for sure if you're in a better situation than where you were. So by having an AB switch and incorporating what you had versus what you have, you can compare the two. Roger?
Roger, yeah. With the 7610, I got two
antenna port, so that was the plan. Over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can do that, or AV switch. I have actually a six-way switch that I can select my my dipoles. I have separate dipoles for each band that I operate on. I'm kind of lazy that way. It's a lot easier just to do it that way, and you have a dedicated dipole for the band, and you have no compromises there, Roger.
No compromises there, Roger. Roger, I understand. Got to have the real estate for it, but maybe someday. Like I say, I have two antennas now. One I use strictly for digital and Mars, and it's a end-fed terminated end. Scan several frequencies, and it's unattended, basically. Over.
Roger that. Well, you can do wonders with a tower. As far as getting your dipoles strung out mainly in Ys, slopers, and you can really go to town that way and not really have them everywhere. They're all in a confined area, but they do not react to each other as far as detuning much, as long as you tune them with the other antennas present. Roger?
Yeah, that's a whole science in itself. So listen, I appreciate your time. I want to let someone else get in here and get the radios checked out, but I appreciate your time in helping me. Over.
Yes, sir, Dennis. Glad to do that, sir. And we say 73 to you. And have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday, and we'll see what's going on. And with that, we've come to the conclusion of another day's broadcast there on the Qso-Vlog net. We enjoyed it. Hope you have. And again, if you want to hear your audio, if you participated, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 4/30/21, that will bring up this recording. Give us a couple of days to get it uploaded, although we'll probably have it tomorrow morning. We shall see. Anyway, that wraps up for today, and this is KC9VKV, and we are returning this frequency to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV, clear.